Hello, it is Zero Senpai here, and today we are doing another What If. This is What If Deku was experimented on, and I believe it is part 7. If I am not correct, I am sorry, but the title will say what part it is when I upload it. But yeah, so before I get started with the video, please go back to the voting video that I just uploaded not that long ago. Probably by now when I post this, it's probably gonna be about an hour, maybe 2 hours ago. But the last video I just posted is a voting video for the next What If. So please go back to it and vote. You're gonna have to listen to the whole thing to hear about the what ifs. Sorry if it's a little bit sloppy, I'll try better next time. But other than that, let's get on with the video. Last time where we left off, Komi Woods was trying to get the kids, which were Kirishima, Deku, Eri, Uraraka, and Katsuki. Katsuki. I had him in that one. Those guys, they were trying to get them to leave. Oh, and Froppy. Almost forgot Froppy. But they were trying to get them to leave, but it ended up staying because the conviction they had. But after they had that talk, Fat Gum got Kirishima and Deku ready, and they headed off to the Chizuki base. After everyone arrived, the police walks up to the door and knocks on it and says, "Hey, we have a warrant to search the place, open up." And as soon as he says that, someone comes barging to the door. I believe that was the one that Ryuku, Uraraka, and Froppy fought, along with Nejire. That's the guy that burst through the door. And just like canon, Uraraka, Froppy, Nejire, and Ryuku, or Ryuko, or however you pronounce that, the dragon hero, stays back to take out that villain. Everyone heads ahead, and they're all running to try to find the girl. I don't remember I think I named her Yui, if I believe correctly. But they're trying to save Yui, the girl that's replaced with Eri this time, because Eri isn't kidnapped this time. Well, she was, but not anymore. But yeah, so they're running ahead, and they turn the corner, and there's three guys standing in front of them. One guy with a quirk that can eat a bunch of stuff. Another guy, I believe, I don't remember what he does, but the blonde-haired one, along with the guy with the crystals all over his body. And Bakugo, like usual, charges ahead and tries to blow them up. He does get a few hits on them until Tamaki uses his tentacles to grab Bakugo and bring him back to them. And he tells everyone, "Hey, listen, you guys go after not Eri, you guys go after the little girl, and I will make sure that these guys don't get past. I'll meet you with you guys afterwards." As a few of the students and pro heroes are a little bit worried about it because of Tamaki's self-esteem. So, at first, someone was say that they should leave someone behind, but Fat Gum yells, "Hey, don't underestimate Tamaki. He may have lower self-esteem than most, but he's still a strong hero." And so everyone, they just start moving on. They keep running. And as they run, let's say that... let's say there's a Nomu there this time. Make it a little bit fun. A Nomu crashes through one of the walls. As it does, Fat Gum tries to attack it, but when he does, he just gets blown away. Even though he can absorb stuff, the Nomu hits hard. This Nomu, I would say, is probably going to be as strong as the one at the USJ. So, he gets blown away, and he stands back up, about to charge at the Nomu. But before anything could, the wall starts moving towards Aizawa. It is about to move him to a different area. But before they could, since Fat Gum was the closest, since he was charging, he jumped in the way and pushed Aizawa out of the way. But Fat Gum didn't notice that Kirishima also tried to push tried to push Aizawa out of the way, so they both went flying into a different area where they met Rampa and the guy that can make the shields. Now we're gonna do Rampa's fight, and then we'll get back to them. So, I mean Kirishima's, not Rampa's. So when they land down there, they see Rampa. Rampa tries to attack Kirishima. Kirishima puts his arms up, trying to protect himself, and he just gets blown away, just like in Canon, how his armor breaks. And at first, he was a little bit afraid, but then he remembered how Deku, or Midoriya, or whatever you want to call him, protected everyone at the USJ, how beaten he was. And he knew that he could not just stand by and not protect his comrade, since he was the shield. The spear and the shield. Kirishima, he's a shield. So, Rampa charges at Fat Gum. But in this one, before the land could even hit, Kirishima blocks the next one, goes flying back again. But before Kirishima could get back up, Fat Gum punched Rampa, tried to at least, but his shield went up. So Fat Gum ran over to Red Riot and said, hey, whispered in his ear and said, hey, listen, you need to stay back, let him get a few hits on me, I can take him out with one big punch. There's no way that we're going to take him out with normal tactics. So when I raise my fist and it looks like I'm about to attack, then you run in and protect me so I can hit the final blow. And Kirishima, he nods his head as he gets up and just watches Fat Gum run back into battle, as Rampa starts pounding and pounding and pounding on Fat Gum. Fat Gum's taking every hit straight to the gut. He's absorbing every single amount of it into his fist, ready to hit. And as Rampa's hitting, the guy with the shield's kind of worried because Red Riot is not attacking. He's just standing there with a determined look, so he's a little bit worried about what they're planning. And as Fat Gum's about to lift his fist and punch Rampa, or shield lifts right over Rampa, and Rampa's like, hey, why do you put the shield up? As the guy with the shield realizes what he was trying to do. And he yells, listen, Rampa, he just absorbed all your hits, and he's about to hit you as hard as he can with all of them. All that force you put into him, into one punch. And Rampa's still a bit surprised, but he's like, huh, bring down this stupid shield, I finally get a challenge. And the shield guy's like, no, I will not bring down this shield. We have to respect Master's wishes. We gotta work together and take down these two. But before he could say anything else, Rampa charges forward at the shield guy and just punches him and says, stay out of my way. I don't care what he says. I just want a fair fight. And I also want a challenge, and this is a challenge. And he turns around and he's about to attack Fat Gum. And Fat Gum was off his guard for a second there, because he was surprised that Rampa attacked his own teammate. And as they're about to collide, Kirishima jumps right in the way and hardens his skin into Red Riot Unbreakable. And just like in Canon, he's getting punched and punched and punched and punched as his skin is getting torn and broken and shattered. Fat Gum is surprised that Kirishima is still standing, even though he's taking all these hits, and so is Rampa. And Kirishima falls after trying to hit Rampa, but before he could, a shield was put up by the shield guy, because he still had he had to protect his teammate because it was his master's wishes. But Fat Gum, he takes his fist and it collides with the shield. It shatters the shield, and then it hits Rampa. Rampa goes flying backwards with all the force he put into Fat Gum, blown back at him. And as that happens, Fat Gum looks down at Red Riot and picks him up and makes sure he's okay. He can stand, so he stands up, and they both walk over to the two they just took down, because the shield guy may be able to put up shields, but first off, they're not that strong right now because he was just beaten to a pulp by Rampa, and second off, he cannot stand up. So they both put cuffs on them and go to a medical place that Rampa showed them where it was, and Rampa's thinking he'll get a second chance to fight them. So, that fight ends as they are just sitting and waiting. But we're gonna go back about, I would say that fight would have took half an hour, half an hour. So, we're gonna go back at half an hour, back to when they first got put into that hole. But this time we're going from Izuku's point of view. So as they get swallowed, Izuku does try to stop it with his light and darkness, trying to make like a shield bubble type thing around them to bring them back to him because he can control it, but he was too late and they got swallowed. Excuse me. So when this happens, they're all looking around trying to figure out what just happened because they have no clue why the wall just moved. But they couldn't do anything for long as the Nomu attacks. And he's about to attack some policemen. Bakugo's not having it though. He goes over and explodes the Nomu, trying to explode it, but he just gets hit back, so Mirio runs in, and Nomu's about to punch Mirio right straight in the face, but he phases right through it. And with One for All, at 100%, because we're going to say he can deal with 100, no, that's not 100, but that's overpowered. Let's say 50%, okay? With 50% of One for All, he hits him right in the gut, and the Nomu does go back a little bit, but not much. As the Nomu's about to attack again, Izuku runs in and stabs him with two of his swords, seeping it in, just like he did, seeping his darkness and light in, just like in canon. Not canon, oh my goodness. Just like at the USJ, except it has light and dark, not just dark. So it has a lot more of an effect. Instead of killing the Nomu this time though, Izuku tries something new. He seeps the darkness and lightness into the veins and nerves and everything. As it happens, the Nomu cannot move. He's just frozen. He's not dead, but he's frozen. And Izuku, he's like, maybe I can fix this. Because as you guys know, I'm pretty sure at least, I'm pretty sure this is how it is. The Nomus are made out of people. So, I'm going to have Izuku be able to do something. He's going to try to split them. So he starts trying to split the Nomu and humans and turn the humans back into normal, trying to. But as he does it, the Nomu screeches in pain because he's being ripped apart. But as Izuku notices that they're not just one person, it's multiple people, and that if he removes it, the Nomu will just die, and he will not be able to save anyone. The humans are already dead. It's just a brainless beast. Izuku gets mad at this. He's like, dang! Like he says, D-A-M-N, I think is how you spell. He says that, but I'm gonna say, dang! And he's getting really mad. And Bakugo sees this. He runs over to Deku and says, cool it, Deku. We're still in a fight. You need to cool down. You need to think tactical like you always do. And Izuku, he tries to cool down, so he cools down. But he knows he has to kill the Nomu. So he takes all that darkness and light that is in the Nomu's body and sieges it upwards towards the brain. It hits the brain and it kills it. At least that's what we think. I ain't saying it's dead or it's not dead yet. But I'm gonna say it's dead. Maybe. But they walk and they're starting to go. But then the floors start moving again. Just like how Aizawa got captured. I mean, not captured. That's how Fat Gum and Kirishima got put in a different area. And so their walls are moving and everything, and they're like quirk enhancements because they know that who it is, they just don't know where he is. Izuku, since he has his eye, he uses it and he's trying something new. So he tries sensing where this guy is because he can sense movement. So he senses and senses and senses when he spots a figure on the wall moving around. And as the figure's about to attack from behind and try to kill Bakugo, Izuku puts up a shield by Bakugo. Bakugo doesn't know why, but all of a sudden the wall comes out as a spike and tries to hit Bakugo, but it's stopped by Deku's wall of shield. And Bakugo's surprised, and Deku yells, "Bakugo, start exploding the walls!" So Bakugo starts hitting the walls because he knows that Deku is more of a strategist, so he does what Deku says. He doesn't like it because, he doesn't like taking orders, but he knows that he has to sometimes. So he starts hitting the walls with explosions, starting to blow up the walls. And Deku says, "Behind you, at the center wall, hit right there as hard as you can." So Bakugo takes his gauntlet this time and just pulls the pin. It hits the wall as we hear a scream and a body falls and is about to hit the ground. If he hits the ground, he will die. But before he can hit the ground, Deku enhances his muscles with darkness and lightness, dark and light, and boosts forward and catches the guy. Takes his darkness and light and binds him into a bind so he cannot move. So the guy gets quirk erasing cuffs on him and gets given to the police. Well, some policemen are getting him out of the building. As they move forward, but Mirio, he seeps right through the floor because he's trying to find the guy. So he seeps to the floor and he finds Chisaki with the little girl. And Chisaki's surprised that he was able to make it past all his minions as Mirio tries to attack, but he starts getting wobbly. He's barely able to stand, and he realizes that there's a quirk user near him that makes it so when the guy drinks and people get near him, they get really wobbly and can barely stand. As one guy tries to shoot him with a regular bullet, but he just phases right through it. So he jumps in the wall and phases through the wall. As he's moving through the walls, he comes up right below the guy that has the gun and punches him. But the guy with the gun, after he gets punched, just stands back up after falling down. And he points the gun again, but before he could do anything, overhaul, he attacks Mirio. Mirio does get stabbed in this one, and it's not a critical hit, but it's pretty bad. So after he gets hit, they run off as Mirio is trying to get out of the spike. It isn't a huge spike, just a smaller one, but he gets out of it, and he's about to go chasing after them, so he does. And he starts fighting even more and more and more, and he gets the girl. But as he gets the girl, he sets her down and says, "I'll protect you. I'll keep you safe." And just like Eri, the girl's like, "Why? You need to get out of here. He'll hurt you." Because she's seen what Overhaul can do. As Deku breaks the wall, and when he breaks through, he sees a gun being pointed at the little girl. It's about to hit the little girl, but Mirio jumps in, so it's about to hit Mirio. But before it could, Deku puts up a giant wall in front of Mirio of blackness. It hits the wall, just bounces off. Deku runs down and attacks the guy with the gun. He breaks the gun in two, so now they can't use their bullets. But he makes sure the guy is unconscious as Night Eye runs in there and is trying to help Mirio. As Mirio and Night Eye are both fighting together against Chisaki. But before anything could happen more, Chisaki puts up a giant spike right through Night Eye's stomach. And he isn't dead yet, but he's going to be because it's a critical hit. He's barely alive as it is right now. As Uraraka and Froppy come crashing through the top of the building with the guy they fought. and they're surprised to see Izuku, because they just saw another Izuku up there telling them where it was. But they don't question it, and they keep fighting. As they reach the ground, Izuku tells them what's going on, and he goes back into battle trying to protect Night Eye. As he picks up Night Eye, picks him up, and runs him over to Uraraka and says, "Uraraka, you need to protect him." And Uraraka's like, "Yeah, okay." He runs back, and he kicks Overhaul straight in the face, sending him flying. But as he's flying, he touched the ground, and no one even noticed as a spike goes up. It's about to impale Deku, a critical hit. He will die if it hits. But as it's about to hit, 5 inches from his chest, Mirio jumps in and gets stabbed himself. And he gets stabbed right in the gut, right in a critical hit. And Deku's surprised, and he's like, "Mirio, no!" And he pulls Mirio off the spike. Well, he breaks the spike, so he doesn't cause any more bleeding. And he's like, "Mirio, are you okay?" And as Mirio is laying on the ground, unconscious, he isn't dead, but that's what Deku thinks. Deku thinks he's dead. So Izuku, he loses control of himself and gets angry. Like, he won't attack his friends in this one, but he's about to beat the heck out of Overhaul. And Bakugo runs in after a little bit and sees Deku about to charge at Overhaul. And Bakugo runs down there and says, "Deku, listen, you need to calm down. If you fight blindly like this, you're gonna die too." And as he sees Mirio on the ground, he picks up Mirio and says, "I'll get him to safety. Just please, don't get yourself killed." As he runs off where Night Eye and Uraraka are and gives Mirio to them. And give me a second. And Deku, he attacks Overhaul, sending him flying. Barrages of kicks and punches and headbutts straight to his face and gut, chest and arms. As Overhaul knows if he stays like this, he's going to die. So he dodges one of Deku's kicks, grabs his leg and throws him. Because we'll say that Deku put a shield up on his leg, armor, and Overhaul did try to disintegrate him, but it just disintegrated the armor, not him. So he runs over to the guy that Asui and Uraraka made go flying through the ground. He goes over and combines them two, and now he's a giant monster just like he was in canon. And he touches the ground, sending spikes everywhere. And one's about to hit Uraraka. And it hits Uraraka. She's not going to die, but she's hit. Bakugo sees this and runs over to Uraraka. He breaks the spike, leaving the rest of it in her, so to make sure that she doesn't get, make sure she doesn't bleed out. And he tells Uraraka to sit there and make sure that she stays still. And he tells Asui to watch after her. And Bakugo's anger in his eyes, because he does like Uraraka. I'm not sure if I had them date yet, so we'll just say they're already dating, because I can't remember if they do or not. But we're going to say he's already dating, because I was planning on doing that ship anyways in this one. But he sees this, and he's angry, and he's anger in his eyes, and he turns over to Overhaul, and he runs at him, and he starts exploding him. As Overhaul's trying to hit Bakugo, but Bakugo's just dodging. As Bakugo, he blasts up in the air, as Izuku kicks Overhaul in the face, sending him flying. Izuku goes flying up in the air with Bakugo. Bakugo grabs Deku's arm, and does his thing where he spins around like crazy and throws Deku. And Deku makes a spike out of his white and dark power, and it hits one of Overhaul's hands, impaling it. But Overhaul just pulls it out, ripping his hand more, but then just repairs it again. And he's like, "Give me Yui back! She isn't yours! Kids like you won't know what to do with her!" And as Overhaul starts to attack again, he realizes who it is. He realizes, he's like, "Oh, so it's you, huh?" one of my old experiments, huh? You know, if I win this battle, I'm taking you back. And let me guess, Aries here too, isn't she? As Aerie does run into the building and on the ground where Uraka is and everyone, she runs over, and we're gonna say that Mirio's too far to go to fix. Like, he's lost too much blood and she can't rewind that, but she does rewind the everything on them, turns them back to normal, except Mario's still going to end up dying because he lost too much blood. The same thing with Night Eye, but she was able to save Uraka. And Aries like, hey Uraka, can you give me a boost up there? And Uraka's like, yeah, and touches Aerie, making her float. Aerie floats up to the surface, and she sees Bakugo and Deku fighting. And Overhaul sees Aerie. He's like, I knew she was here. Now I'm going to make sure I experiment on you even more. And for running away, I'm going to punish you. And he's getting angry and about to attack Aerie. But before he could, Deku and Bakugo both kick and explode him, making him go back a few feet and flinch as they keep fighting. And Aerie, she's like, I gotta do something. What can I do? And she realizes what she can do to make this a lot easier on them. So she charges in as Overhaul sees this, and he's like, dang it, I can't let her get close to me, and starts sending spikes at Aerie. And Deku realizes what she's trying to do, so Deku gets in front of her and blocks the spikes and makes sure that she's going to be able to get over there. As Aerie gets over there, she puts her hand on Chizaki, and he rewinds back into the two people, himself and the guy that Ochako Uraka fought. As they're falling to the ground, because they were pretty high up since they were monsters, into a monster form that was huge. They're falling to the ground, and one guy hits the ground. He's fine, because, you know, he's big buff, and he's knocked out, but other than that, he's fine. As Chizaki's about to hit the ground, Deku catches him, takes his hands behind his back, and he makes it so that Overhaul can't use his hands. Like, he can't even move or use his quirk. And Deku, he slams Overhaul on the ground and says, you aren't touching me or Aerie again, and definitely not that little girl. As the little girl is still down in the hole with Uraka and everyone. As Uraka is making sure that the little girl is safe. And Deku, he does want to kill Overhaul before he's done, but he knows that's not what a hero does. So he just knocks him out, and the Overhaul arc ends right there. Not like the whole arc, but the main fighting. As Deku informs everyone that the main leader of the Chizaki has been taken down. They search the building, they find this old man that's knocked out. They bring the old man to the hospital and, you know, all that. They take Chizaki and they're bringing him to a secure facility where he will never be able to hurt anyone again for a long... for a long time. As Izuku knows this, so he's pretty happy. Izuku goes over to the little girl and asks her what her name is, because he didn't get her name. And she says, my name's Yui. And she's afraid, because she doesn't know what's going to happen now. And Izuku's like, hey, listen, you don't have to worry. Me, you, we're just the same. We're exactly the same. And Yui gives a concerned, weird look at Deku, and Deku's like, you don't understand. I was once a person that was experimented on by Overhaul as well. I know how it feels, but you're safe now. I'll make sure that you're taken care of. Make sure that you get a good home and good parents. As Yui grabs onto Deku and gives him a hug and says, thank you. Thank you so much. As Aerie is crying her eyes out. Not Aerie. Yui is crying her eyes out, and Eri sees this, and she's like, because it's happy tears, not sad. Well, mix of sad and happy for what happened to her and that she's being saved, so it's a mix. But Izuku hugs her and picks her up as Yui falls asleep in Deku's arms. And he brings her over to a ambulance and says, hey, this is a little girl that needed to be taken in and looked after. So they take her and bring her to a hospital, and Eri and Deku meet up again. And they talk about stuff, and they try to visit Eri a few times in the hospital, but not Eri. They try to visit Yui in the hospital a few times, but they're not allowed yet. Then one day, as they're just, doing their daily things, they're on a date, let's say that, they get a call from the hospital saying that they're allowed to come see her now, since her quirk is more stable than it was before, because just like in canon, Yui's quirk is a little bit unstable, just like Eri's was. So they run to the hospital, and well, they get in there, they walk through the doors, and they see Eri in her room. They go in there, and they say, Yui. They see Yui in the room, and they say, hey Yui, you okay? And Yui looks at them, doesn't smile, but she says, yeah. And Izuku and Eri walk over to her and say, so, do you know if you're getting out of here soon? And Yui's like, no, I don't. And they talk for a bit, get to know each other more. And oh my goodness, Yui does smile just a tiny bit, which makes Deku happy. And he says, no, I gotta go see someone. And earlier today, he got a call from Mirio right after they were heading to the hospital, saying that he wanted to see him. As Deku walks into Mirio's room, seeing Mirio hooked up to all these things, and Mirio's barely alive right now, he's barely holding on. All Might's there too, except in his buffless form. And actually they do know about his, I think they do know about his form, his skinny Might. I'm not sure, but let's say he does. And he sees All Might, he's like, so what do you need me for? Why is All Might here? And Mirio, he does sit up a little bit, because he knows he's gonna die anyways, but he thinks he has to, tell Deku, And Deku walks over and he says, yeah, what do you need? And Mirio looks straight at Deku in his eyes and says, listen, the doctors, they say I'm going to live. They're saying that, but I already know I'm not. They're just trying to console me and make sure I don't feel bad and think that I'm going to survive, so I'll be happy. But I already know that I'm not going to live. Sir has already died. And, well, I don't have much longer either. I'll probably pass on in a few hours, I could just die right here, right now, for all I know. But I would like to give something to you. And All Might knows what's going on because he was informed by Mirio what Mirio wanted to do, and All Might agreed that he could if he wanted to. And Mirio looks at Deku and says, I want to give you my quirk. And Izuku's like, okay, hold up. What do you mean, give me your quirk? And he's like, well, I think All Might should explain. He knows more. And All Might walks up to Deku and he says, the reason why I can no longer use my quirk is because I gave it to Mirio. My quirk can be passed on. And I saw Mirio as my successor. But now, Mirio can no longer hold that mantle because he doesn't have much longer left. As Deku's like, wait, what? It's like, what do you mean? You're gonna give me your power? And he explains one for all about how it originated and everything, and Deku's like, you really think you should give it to me? I mean, there are plenty other people suitable. I mean, you could choose Nejire Hato, Tamaki, anyone. Why me? And Mirio looks at Deku and says, "Cuz I know you're a true hero." As Zuko does try to deny it, and he says, "Listen, you cannot give me that. You need to give it to someone else more worthy." But in the end, Mirio and Toshinori / All Might convince Deku to take the quirk. So he takes the quirk, and he now has one for all. And he hugs Mirio and says, "Listen, I know that you say you don't have long to live, but please just try your best to live." And Mirio looks at him and says, "You didn't think I was going to give up, did you?" He's like, "No, I didn't think you would, but I still want to remind you that if you die, the people are going to be sad." As Deku walks off and says, "Listen, I'll be back in a few days to check on you. But now I gotta focus on school and stuff. Bye." And he walks away, meets up with Eri, and they talk a little bit. And they decide that they want to do something. So they go to Mr. Aizawa and ask, "Hey, Mr. Aizawa, how old do you have to be to adopt kids?" And Aizawa, he's like, wait, what did you just ask me? And he's like, "Well, me and Eri have decided something, and we wanted to see if it was okay to do it. Because, you are the #1 person that has to watch after Yui right now." And as I was like, "Oh, I see. Well, the age is, I'm gonna say the age in Japan is 16. I don't know what it is in Japan or even in the USA. I think you have to be 18, but not sure." But he's like 16, and Zuko smiles and says, "Great, just the right age then." Because Zuko and Eri are both 16 at this point. And they go into the hospital like a few days later, and they go to Yui's room and they look at Yui and they say, "Hey, Yui, so do you know how all the doctors and everyone have been talking about having you adopted by someone, trying to figure out who you're gonna go with?" And Yui's like, "Yeah, a little bit scared of who it is." And Izuku says, "Well, me and Eri have decided something, but we will only do it if you say you want to." And Yui looks up and says, "What do you mean?" And Deku, he says, "Well, me and Eri have decided that we wanted to adopt you as our daughter, even though we're not married, we're just dating, but we want to adopt you." And Yui's like, she smiles brightly and jumps up and hugs Deku and says, "Yes, I want to be adopted by you. I wouldn't want it anyone else, please." As she's crying in his arms, asking, begging, and Deku's like, "Listen, you don't have to beg. I would be fine with adopting you. Like I already said, me and Eri have decided we wanted to. We just wanted to make sure that you wanted to be adopted by us." And Zuko and Eri smile and hug Yui. And they get permission to adopt her. So now they're his daughter. They're her daughter. They're her. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Yui is now Izuku's and Eri's daughter, and she is also the granddaughter, I think it would be, of Aizawa. I think that's how that works. But yeah. And, well, I don't know how to end this, because I want to end it now, but I'm not sure how to. So, I'll just say that we'll do a 10-year time skip, and by now, Izuku, he's the #1 hero, and everyone cheers for him when he's in battle, fighting for them. and he's a symbol of peace, just like All Might. And villains even started being inspired to become heroes because of the fact that he had a dark and light quirk. Some people would still say that Izuku has a villain quirk, but he would just look at them and say, even if someone has a quirk that's more villainy, that quirk does not make the person. The person makes the hero or the villain. And that's his like catchphrase he uses all the time. And Eri and Deku are married at this point, and they've had 2 kids along with Yui, so that's 3. And we'll say that Yui is in class 1A right now. So yeah, I'm gonna end it off right there. I hope you guys liked this. Sorry if it's a little bit short. This is my first What If. I'll probably do some more parts of more What Ifs later. Like I'll do like more than just 7 or whatever this is. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to vote for the next video, please. And the video I posted not that long ago. Thank you. I will see you guys in the next